Salutations, salutations, everyone. It's a peaceful morning, peaceful Sunday morning. I come before you, on my way to church, on my way to worship. I thank God for everything and everything. You know how I feel about my relationship with God. I take it seriously, contrary to what, you might believe, or contrary to what you might think of me as a person. I still take my relationship with God very seriously, and I'm always going to be a work in progress. And I'm thank God that He is on this journey with me towards being a better version of myself. So I just thought I'd come before you, not too long, because like I said, I'm on my way. But I hope everybody's doing well. I hope that whoever was able to be a part of my experience, I said, it was just an interview, but it was an experience with actress, director, writer Denise Monet. That was on yesterday afternoon. And so please make sure that you check that interview out. All my videos are up, you guys. So I know there's some people that think because they miss a live stream, they think that it's no longer accessible. No, you can always catch the replay of all my videos. And I know that I've been getting just a little bit, not too many, but I'm getting a little bit of critique about the length of my interviews. And for one, I do appreciate the critiques that I get. I may not agree, and I may still do whatever it is I feel is best for my platform, but I do receive the critiques. So don't get me wrong, but when it comes to the length of my interviews, you got to be realistic about something, because there's so much ground to cover. And so I try to condense it as much as I can. And, while, being, allowing my guests to give you a snippet of their journey, and it's not going to be in 30 to 45 minutes. That's not realistic. If you go to any other platform, whether it's Hollywood Unlocked or any other podcast, we have a guest on, when you interview with them, there's normally not going to be, it's going to be an average of an hour and a half. So I understand sometimes, when you have people who have a short attention span, or they may not want to sit through an hour and a half interview, there's ways that you can still support a platform. There are still ways that you can still give the person like myself the view, even if you decide to redball. Because there are times where I don't want to sit and watch a whole video, but I still support, and I still do a click and a view, and I redball. There's the redball is there for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Oh goodness. Not the police car, almost running into somebody. Oh, goodness. Not the police car. It's the driver kind of reckless. Oh, my goodness. But anywho, so just to just kind of piggyback off of that critique, like, I try to give, the best interviews I can. I make them as interesting as possible, and I'm not going to condense. I'm not going to clip. I do clip them, and that's another thing too. So just to make sure that you get as many highlights of the interview as you can, I do clip them. So just to kind of give you an overview, because I know some people might be a little confused about the setup in YouTube. All my interviews, whether it's live, like. Or there might be a very few that I have pre-recorded, but all my full interviews are under the live. They're under live. When you go on YouTube, they're under different sections. There's live, then you have videos, shorts, posts. When you go under the live tab, that's when you see all my interviews, the full interviews. Under videos, you see the clips of those interviews, or any other videos that I do, like this one right now, or my reviews, my reaction videos. Those are under videos. Then there's shorts, where you have videos that are 3 minutes or less. Those are the shorts. And then you have the post on the community wall, where I post, my flyers, or I might post a link to someone else's video, or somebody else's channel that I want you to support. That's how the setup is on the YouTube channels. So just to kind of get clear. Oh, also playlists. I have playlists that I put together. I have a playlist for my interviews. I have a playlist for my reaction videos and my reviews. Well, my reaction videos and my reviews. So those three are the main type of videos that I have on playlists. So just to kind of give you a run through of that. So please make sure you support. And circling back to Denise Monet, I had a good time with her. I enjoyed her. I enjoyed the stories that she tells. So please make sure that you support, and make sure you check out that interview with her. It was very enjoyable. And also, my next interview is going to be with Isaiah Winbush, actor, very great actor that I'm looking forward to speaking with. His interview is going to be on this coming Wednesday, June 17th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you tune into that. So yes, I just wanted to kind of give you a little, just kind of show myself, trying to be consistent, with my content, and just be consistent with engaging with, you guys as well. And, like I said before, I try not to dig too deep into certain stories and certain things, right? But it's been a lot about this Carmelo Anthony case. And I'm going to be honest with you, because I know it's going to be some backlash to some of the things I'm going to say, because based off of what I've heard so far, and I don't have all the facts, I honestly didn't do all the research. So, I just want to just kind of get my overall 2 cents. Just pardon me for a minute. I'm getting my card out because my bus is here. So just give me a moment, and I'll give you my 2 cents in one second. 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right, thank you. Alrighty. So I hope that you're still able to hear me, you guys. Because it's always a lot of background noise when I get on the bus. So just give me 1 second. Alrighty, here I go. And so, like I was saying, this situation with Carmelo Anthony is very unfortunate. That a young man is sentenced to the rest of his life basically in jail. Might as well say the rest of his life. He was given 35 years. And so my position is that I understand both sides when it comes to what happened, when it came to him feeling like he had to defend himself. And I understand the family of the victim who felt like murder was unwarranted. And I have to agree with that. And I know it's going to be a lot of people who is going to consider this the unpopular opinion. But this is my opinion nonetheless, because, when I do certain commentary, or when I come and I interview with certain guests, and when they speak on how they were bullied, I am so against bullying, but I'm also against murder too. And I do understand that there are certain circumstances that may lead up, when you have people that go through abusive situations, or when they have to feel like they do commit murder for self-defense. But in this case, I felt like this could have been prevented, honestly. It was told, like I heard about a little bit of a backstory where Carmelo was invited to an event, a sporting event or something, and the victim, and I think his brother, was taunting him, and it was said that the victim was not even supposed to be there, because I think he had a suspension or something. He wasn't supposed to be at the event, but he felt the need to bully Carmelo, and I don't know their backstory. I don't know their history, because I'm sure that they had been rivals for a long time, and I'm sure that the victim was taunting him for a period of time, and Carmelo felt like this was a way for him to understand the whole idea about effing around and finding out, I guess. But For me, I just feel like stabbing someone to death, and I know there's a lot of outrage out there, right? But however, I just feel like we don't want to instill in our children, whether it's a young men or young women, that because because you're being bullied, that you're justified in stabbing someone to death or committing murder, which I do understand. Like I said, I'm not condoning bullying. I'm not. But I'm just saying that we have to instill different types of ways to rectify the situation, because I know how it is when a child is being bullied and you try to talk to your parents or you try to talk to school officials, and a lot of times they're very dismissive. They seem like they don't make enough effort to prevent the further escalation until something happens to the other person. And so we just I think we need to just try to find ways collectively to find other ways to reduce the amount of bullying and the amount of conflict that occur among our youth, especially so that way we don't have to get to the point where we have to resort to using a weapon and taking someone's life in order to prove a point. And I just because as a lot of people keep saying self-defense, but I'm thinking, well, first of all, I feel like this was premeditated, because he said that if you touch me again, you're going to F around and find out. So this was kind of premeditated, and I'm sure that he was aware of the consequences of his actions, because at the end of the day, you can't expect to not serve any time, because at the end of the day, you took someone's life. And I don't condone what the victim did, but you still took that person's life. And sometimes, a lot of times we got to allow people the opportunity to take accountability and understand the part that they played to reflect on their actions, because some people do reform. There's a lot of reformity within people who are, who are out there in those streets, or who's known to do certain things that are not ideal, but they still able to reform themselves, right? So who's to say that this person wasn't able to do that? And I'm not defending anyone, because I just feel like the outrage is so strong to the point where I'm wondering, like, are you trying to say that if push comes to shove, if you continue to be bullied by the same individual, then it's okay to stab them to death or use a weapon against them and either severely injure them or commit murder, if that is the resort that you have to take? And I don't want that to be the type of street justice that you look to, because I just, I have an adult, he's an adult now, but my son, when I try to instill certain things in him when it comes to bullying, when it comes to when kids tease him, or when he goes through any type of conflict in school or anywhere else with another kid his age, I would never be tell you, oh, it's okay for you to take a knife and stab them because they're continuing to taunt you. We have to try to find other ways to handle it. And I know it's not easy, it's easier said than done, but to allow them to resort to stabbing and taking that person's life, that's not the way to handle this. And so I'm also, with all this outrage over him being sentenced or being held accountable for a murder that he committed, I'm wondering, would this be this much outrage if the victim was black? So I just wanted to, like I said, I just wanted to add my 2 cents on it. I know that it's going to be the popular opinion. I know that they're going to tell me to get my facts straight, but I'm just going off of what I was privy to, But nonetheless, I just hope that both sides of the families. You know, I pray for both sides. I pray for all families of both the victim and Carmelo. I know that the victim's father is outraged, which is understandable because he lost his son, and so he's spewing a lot of anger out there, which is understandable. But yeah, I pray for both those families, and I just wanted to, like I said, just give my feedback on that, and I just hope that everyone has a blessed day, and I see you soon. And please make sure you cop that Pretty Boy Summer single by Javen Gerard. Shout out to him. Have a good one.